Good afternoon, folks. My name's Joe Furla, and I'm going to be leading today's Power Automate, an introduction and user guide for Power Automate with Cloud Commander. Please note today is not a truly Cloud Commander training. We have an hour and a half. That is nowhere near enough time to look at training on Power Automate. But that being said, we will go over some basics within the tool. We will go over how to utilize the tool. So it should be enough for us to get our feet wet and dive into utilizing the tool within Cloud Commander. So we'll go ahead and get started. First off, as always today, we start with our legal items. Please note, I am not PM, nor am I dev. So if we talk about any forward-facing items, especially with Cloud Commander, please note that I do not control dev or PM or their schedules. So while I'm giving you the most accurate information I have at this point in time, I am by no means looking at setting those items in stone, as stuff always pops up in the dev world, be it, a security item, a vulnerability, a critical bug that needs to be fixed. I don't control any of that scheduling. All right. Also, please note, today's session will be recorded for quality control and training purposes. I cannot send out today's session, nor can I send out the recording from today's bootcamp, but of course you can always find it within the Enable Me portal underneath the Enable You heading. All right, so first things first, quick introduction to myself, and we'll move quick here. Please note, we're going to kind of rush through this intro because we've got a lot to deal with in Power Automate. All right, so my name's Joe Furla. I've been here at Enable for about 7 years. I've held a number of positions here at the company, ranging from channel sales to head nerd, and almost everything that's partner facing in between, except for support, really. And I've had a blast doing it. Right now, I'm the head nerd of Insight, Mac, Cloud Commander, Operational Efficiency, Analytics, as well as our satellite tools. As well, please do note on this slide in the right-hand side, you can find my email, joseph.furla, that's F-E-R-L-A, at enable.com. You can also find my Reddit handle, HeadNerdJoe, and you can find me on LinkedIn at Joe Furla should you have any questions or concerns or anything that needs to be handled. And do think about today's bootcamp as well. This is the second time we're running the bootcamp. Literally the first time I ran it was this morning. So any feedback will be greatly appreciated as we're going through the boot camp. Couple of housekeeping items. Please note all attendees are on mute. Let's keep ourselves on mute. There's a number of us in here today. We don't want to be talking over each other. However, please do ask questions as they come up. Ask them at any time. Context is always key. And you can ask those questions utilizing the questions pane within the GoToMeeting UI. Please note again, this session is being recorded for quality control and training purposes. We'll have a couple of polls that we'll kick off with here today. The first poll being, how often do we utilize Cloud Commander in our day-to-day service delivery? Of course, our scale being once or more per day, maybe once per week, once a month, or I am never utilizing Cloud Commander. Keep the poll open here for just another couple seconds, and then we'll go ahead and look at getting started with today's bootcamp. All right, go ahead and close out the poll, and we'll run our second one. How often are you utilizing Power Automate today? Is this something that we are using daily or weekly? Is this something that we are using about once a month? Are we using it a little bit more frequently? or a little bit less frequently. All right, go ahead, close this poll. And we'll go forward. All right, so today's agenda is going to be a general overview of Power Automate. We'll quickly go over the different sections of the tool, the items that we will see as we are utilizing the tool, the different functions of those items, and pretty much what we can do with them. Then where we'll go is we will look at utilizing an import. So how do we look at taking an item that's been found in some third-party resource and utilizing it within Cloud Commander, be that something like, say, Stack Overflow or Microsoft itself, a third-party tool, or even, say, a repository that you're getting from other MSPs. And then we'll also look at creating our own flows. So how can we start from the ground up and build from scratch? So for those of you unfamiliar, general overview of Power Automate. So quickly, the easiest way I think to describe Power Automate is that it is a resource designed to allow for quick and simple automation of our repetitive and redundant tasks in day-to-day service delivery. This could be as simple as the scheduling the send of a recurring predetermined message. It could be something as complex as a onboarding flow that includes, say, the additions of licenses, least privileged access, and the like. So really think of this as a tool that allows us to, with a graphical interface, look at automating part of our day-to-day. There's about 150 applications that have connectors with Microsoft Power Automate. Okay. So there are a number of tools out there that you can automate items within Power Automate. You can also customize connectors with other apps if they can talk to Power Automate. Typically, this is done via API. Okay. Your flows, which are created by templates, and flows can be combined into solutions, which will be multiple flows acting in a linear fashion or a set fashion, can be fully automated, or they can be triggered by something. So scheduled to be fully automated to happen, triggered by, say, a web request, okay, or manually triggered by adding something to a spreadsheet, or just manually triggered for that matter in, say, a GUI interface. Okay, and we're going to see limited coding here. Power Automate's going to tell you no coding. I'm going to say limited coding. Okay, we do want to have an understanding of our coding languages or our scripting languages, because we're going to be utilizing them within the tool, be it the entry of variables, be it the logic of how we're setting out our flows. I don't mean that you need to be fluent in PowerShell or Python or any of those, but we do want to be able to have a general understanding of what's happening within the automation items. Very similar to, say, something like our own automation manager here at Enable. So let's take a quick look at Power Automate. All right, so inside Power Automate, we've got a couple of items we need to be aware of. We have our ability to control our environments, okay, where we're going to be building these flows. We have some base settings for Power Automate. Okay. where we can view all view licenses, admin center. We've got a help here, and then we've got your logged in user information from Microsoft. Okay. In the main home page, we're going to see learning. We'll see exploring items such as how-to videos, community forums, feature requests, the community forum being an incredibly valuable item. We'll see release notes. Okay, and then here on the left-hand side, we'll get to the navigation of Power Automate. Okay, we'll start off up top with the create. This is where we can come in and we can look at creating either from a template or from a blank flow, our Power Automate workflows. We have a couple of different flavors that we're going to look at. Automated Cloudflow, Instant Cloudflow, and Scheduled Cloudflow are pretty much going to be the same thing. There's just different ways of triggering the individual items that or individual flows that we are creating from our templates or from a blank template. An automated flow is going to be triggered by an event. A manual flow is going to be triggered manually as necessary. And our scheduled flow is going to run at a time of your choosing. Now, automated versus manual or instant is very similar. Okay. Automated could be something for self-healing. Somebody changes settings within a environment for, say, compliance, right? Power settings. It goes back and it fixes policy or profile drift, right? It could be something like items have been added to a spreadsheet. Okay, instant flow, very similar to that. Somebody fills out a form. Okay, the event's going to trigger, right? Or something else along those lines. Okay, when we click in, we'll get into our ability to build a flow. We've got the AI designer. It helps you build flows with Copilot if you would like to utilize it. We've also got the desktop flow, automating processes in our desktop environment, and then we've got our process mining. This is where we're going to put forth SOPs or pieces of automation, be it, say, your finance SOP or some type of automation that you built within Power Automate, and we will go ahead, or Power Automate will go ahead, analyze it with the use of some AI and suggest efficiency building. Okay. You could also start from a predetermined template. There is a billion-1 templates in here. You have so much that you could choose from. Most of the templates in here came from the Power Automate community or from Microsoft themselves. So throughout here, there is a couple smattering of items that come from other places. You'll see these nice little colored blocks are coming in and interacting or signifying, my apologies, the application that particular piece of automation is working with, right? What connectors are we going to need? So here we'll need Power BI, right? And we'll attach this to some settings, right? We've got Gmail and Dropbox. We've got a scheduled flow that works with Outlook, right? We can come down and we can get even more complicated. Here's a scheduled flow that works with Outlook 365 and some type of event, right? Twitter, emails, right? There's just a number of items within this template section to look at starting the creation of a flow. Inside the template section, of course, we can come in and we can look at searching our templates, finding new ones. You can browse through all of the categories here as you would need. Learn, of course, brings learning into the tool. Okay. What do you want to learn about? What do you want to do within Cloud Commander? It's quite a useful section. I live here quite a lot. Okay, I might not be new to Power Automate, but I'm reasonably new to it. Been working with it about a month, 2 months now, and I'm inside that Learn section quite often. Then we'll have the My Flows section. This is where we can look at creating a new flow. We can look at importing flows, or we can interact with our existing flows, where we will see the templates and pieces of automation that we have built. We can come in and look at interacting with one of these flows, be it pulling our 28-day history, looking at who owns it, when was it created, when was it last modified, how does it run. Okay, we can come in, edit that item, share it with who we need to, export it, turn it off or turn it on. Turning it off and turning it on gives you the ability to prevent it or allow it from running. Okay, whether it is an automated, an instant, a desktop, a cloud, a whatever type flow we're working with, if it is not turned on, you cannot utilize it. Now, turning an item on doesn't mean it's going to automatically run, right? It just means it has the ability to run based off of the specifications inside that particular flow. Okay, if we come to edit our flow, okay, we have the ability to come in and see what we are looking at. Let's zoom out. So this is quite a big one, where we're going to see a series of blocks, okay, that are going to trigger what's happening. Okay, and here we have a JSON item coming in via Postman, it looks like, to look at triggering this flow. So we can copy our URL, and it should trigger. Okay. All right. Down here, continuing on the left-hand side, we've got our approvals. These are items that flows that we have created with approvals to be sent in a fashion of our choosing, where we're looking at sending approvals for security documentation, financial documentation. Do we approve this new person being onboarded, getting access to this tool? Okay. So anything that's been sent or received for those approvals. And if we come to our templates, we can get a little bit of a better idea of what we're looking at here, where we can see pre-built templates for us to gain some ideas on, where we're looking at start an approval process and send email for Microsoft form submission, right? Send form responses for approval, right? Request manager approval for a selected file. Okay. Solutions are going to be configurations that include multiple flows in one. Okay, so coming in and looking at creating a solution that is going to have a large or a good amount of flows combined into one. So as we come in to create here, if we could think about those flows being our building blocks here, not those little objects. Again, that'll make a little bit more sense once we get to some demoing, right? We can come in and look at taking flows for our apps, okay, and then adding them to our solutions here. And we can add a new cloud flow. Let's say we want an instant one. Once it loads for us, we're on Microsoft's pace here. We can look at starting from scratch, okay, or we can add an existing piece of automation, right? So here we can pull a cloud flow from either ours or others. Okay. And then we'll be able to interact with our solutions as necessary. Okay. We don't have much in here for solutions, since one, this isn't my licensing, and two, we're having to be very cognizant of the testing that we're doing. All right. We've got process mining, again, where we're going to take a process, we're going to look at it, we're going to determine where the inefficiencies are. Okay, we've got a number of other items in here as well. Okay. All right, we are 20 minutes in. There's nobody in here. I'm going to exit and look at doing some practice within Power Automate myself.